Hi there. Welcome to today's masterclass. On this week's episode, my name is Dr. Julius Oluwasegun Aroba, and I'm your wealth, financial, entrepreneurship mindset surgeon. In this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about trust as a wealth preservation tool. Little do I know that in this week, when I was speaking to one of our associates within the company, they were actually asking, what is the major essence of a trust? And I asked them that the reason of a trust is because trust means you are putting your belief, your system into somebody's hand. Just like the way the word spelled, or the word is being spelled, which is T-R-U-S-T, trust. The word trust, when it comes to preservation of wealth, in this day and age that we're in, future generations, and there are a few tools that are so powerful as what we call trust, because they are not only to protect your assets for creditors or taxes or taxations. Anybody who's actually on the journey of creating wealth in this day and age has got to think about the essence and mandatory of setting up a trust. Trust helps us, whether you are looking to safeguard your wealth, your real estate, your properties, your companies, or several assets that you have in your name as a family or as an entity. You need to have what I call, maybe for your estates, to ensure that your children and children receive their inheritance responsibly. And perhaps what a trust do for anyone in the global world that is on a journey of creating wealth is to help in seeing that your properties cannot just be sold at any amount in this day and age. And as a matter of fact, with you putting up a trust, it will help you to be able to set up a long-lasting legacies. Because this time and age, gone are the days where our fathers, our forefathers, always have properties, and anybody, they have a lawyer or a property manager that manages them for them. But in our own days of time for wealth preservation, we put every company, every asset, everything under a trust, whereby if anything happens to you or your partner or your children, no one is going to be held liable for those properties, and they're not going to be taken away from you by the government. Remember, we need to be able to understand what a trust is and what are the basics of trust. A trust is a legal arrangement where a guarantor or a grantor, the person who creates the trust, transfer the ownership of that asset to a trustee. A person or an institution is responsible for managing the assets, and the trustees hold those assets for the benefit of beneficiaries, like the individual or organization who will receive the trust benefits over the time. Trust can also be highly customized to achieve specific goals, and also they can help you to offer numerous advantages for families looking to preserve and grow their own wealth in this day and age. And the heart of any trust in this world, in a global world that we're in, the ability to dictate how your assets should be managed or to be used, you have that authority or authoritatively in that space. They should be distributed under a certain condition that yourself, your company, your entities, your family can actually have those conditions stipulated. A well-structured trust can provide you for your loved ones, protect your wealth for creditors, to minimize taxes, and also to ensure that your value and your principles are passed down to future generations. And these are the reasons why you've got to look at setting up a trust. Maybe you have 2-3 properties or one property, you have various businesses and companies. It is going to be helping you. I'll cite an example in recent time. There was a friend of mine who actually has a company that was owing a taxes close to $1 million. And what happened? The taxation industry came for him. The government came for him, saying he actually had tax evasion because he did not pay taxes for certain X amount of years. And at the end of the day, this friend of mine, when I asked him some crucial questions, that do you have a trust in place? He said no. Do you have this and this? All these businesses that you have, do you have them secured under a trust? And he said, no. And I said, wow. Little do you know today you're going to be taxed over $1 million in your local currency today because you never put a structure and in place. Imagine he is actually having that businesses or those assets under the trust. No individual, no government would have actually come for that for him. But now, I'll tell you, I told him, I gave him as an advice. Again, just a disclaimer out there, I'm not a tax advisor or perhaps a trust advisor, but I'm a wealth creation surgeon, as I always say. So, for benefit of those who have not been able to put in trust in place, it's not going to be a negative bias. It's just going to help you to be able to safeguard and put a protection around whatever you have in life. And again, it will also help you to see how you can be able to protect your children, and your businesses and your partners when you're putting up a trust. There is no wealthy individual in this day and age, the likes of Bill Gates, the likes of Jeff Bezos, the likes of Elon Musk, that does not have trust in place. That's why you'll see sometimes they'll tell you that they don't even get paid. There's nothing in their name because it belongs to the trust. Just like the incidents that happened in recent times about Bill Gates. And at the end of the day, you find out that the government could not come for the taxes because they couldn't come for him when they would have actually looked for options. But now, the family actually had a trust in place and he was able to safeguard it. And I don't know you that are watching this as an entrepreneur, as a career person, as somebody who's willing to actually put positive entities around your business, your children, your family, protecting them, and also minimizing taxes in different entities. This is why the government how to set up a trust can never be taught in a school wall. It's never taught in Harvard. It's only taught by wealth surgeons like myself. Again, if you don't actually know how to go about this, I'll ask you to log on to www.juliusaroba.com and fill in the info and get across to us on that website, and our team will be able to get across to you in terms of your inquiries. So with this, remember that when there is a voice, there's always an invoice. Let me go into, there are different types of trust that one needs to set up. Number one of them is that there is one called revocable living trust. This is one of the most flexible type of trust because grantors retain the ability to make changes to revoke the trust entity during their lifetime. This type of trust is used primarily to avoid probate processes and also in terms of consuming and expenses, and assets held in a revocable living trust pass directly to beneficiaries. That is one of them. And another one is in terms of application, where the revocable living trust is an excellent tool for family that can help you to avoid. The other one is irrevocable trust. Remember, the first type of trust is revocable trust. The second one is irrevocable trust. What does it do? Unlike revocable trust, living trust is an irrevocable trust cannot be changed or revoked once it is created. And also, once this type of trust is often used to minimize estate taxes, because maybe you have different properties that you have to pay trust on in the US, in the UK, in different countries within the European or in Southern Africans and things like that. Because when you transfer an irrevocable asset in the trust that's irrevocable into this, you will no longer be considered as a grantor because the estate, once they are placed in an irrevocable trust, they permanently remove the grantor's control and ownership. About the application and tax consultation, I will advise you to log into www.juliusaroba.com to get the book that I wrote with my friends and colleagues and associates, which is called Wealth Beyond Lifetime. You can get it on the Flutter Wave, or you just type it on Google, say Wealth Beyond Lifetime. You get that book by Dr. Julius Oluwasegun Aroba, and it will help you. There is another kind of trust, which is generational skipping trust. And there is another one again, which is that of special need trust. If you want to get more details on the type of trusts, how to go about trust, how to set up a trust, or you want to belong to the Zillionaires community, I'll advise you to do me a favor by logging into Julius, www.juliusaroba.com, and drop us a message or an inbox, or you go to maybe Julius Aroba, or on TikTok, on Instagram, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Julius Aroba, and one of our team will be able to get across to you. Until I come your way, I believe you've actually been able to know what we call the entity trust and type of trust, but it might not be in detail. But when we have one-on-one or group one-to-many, you'll be able to get more to know. Until I come your way again, I'm your wealth financial creator surgeon. I can't wait to see you again, and my name is Dr. Julius Oluwasegun Aroba. Take care there, and goodbye for now.